In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how Hudson Cosper makes an estimated $476,000 with his info business. We're gonna be breaking down exactly how he generates traffic, then step by step his entire funnel, and at the end how he converts people and the entire process behind it. So let's get started. So Hudson in theory sells high ticket sales, but what he actually sells is a dream lifestyle. And this is what I mean by that. So this is the ideal client avatar or ICP, and he's very clear on what people he wants to attract and actually sell. So those people usually will be either working a 9 to 5 or stuck in school. They haven't figured out online business yet. They are surrounded by average friends. They are afraid of being average. They barely travel at all, and they still have a boss, and they feel like they have no freedom. And of course, after they make a lot of money, they can spend a lot of money, buy all the fancy cars, apartments, watches, and basically live a dream life of every 14-year-old. And of course, this is a pretty common ICP when it comes to the whole online space, because especially when you are targeting non-sophisticated buyers, and I would assume that this is what Hudson also would say, those things get really cliche. And there's few ways Hudson makes himself stand out from the competition, and we'll cover that in a second. And that allows him to stand out from other people in the online space like Breast Scales, Shelby Sub, and all of those other people that also sell a very similar thing, because at the end of the day, they just sell a make money online offer that just allows to buy a particular lifestyle, right? But there is few ways that Hudson makes himself stand out, so let's cover that. But actually before that, something I hear very often is that people actually don't have their ICP listed like this, because they see, of course, someone like Hudson, right, that goes for the usual non-sophisticated buyers that just want to make money online, and they kind of assume that this is the way to target every single time, right? Because if they are doing that and they are making money, then probably I should just copy that and be another one of those. And this is actually not a good strategy. And this is where I see most people do things wrong, because instead of creating their ideal client, the client that they would actually like to work with, they just copy what is working right now. So you should ask questions like, what problems do they have, right? What are their goals? What they try to fix, right? What is the current and desired situation, right? Like the same as Hudson has it right here. And also, what this keeps them at night, right? And what they will actually do if they achieve all of those things. Like those are the things that will make all of your copy, that will make all of your content if you get this right. And the good thing is that you don't have to be perfect with that, right? Because once you scale, once you actually create more content, this will become much more clearer to you, but you have to start somewhere. So I would really recommend doing that. But let's go back to Hudson. So he posts content on Instagram, TikTok, and also on his YouTube. And on Instagram and TikTok, he uses this very raw approach, right? And let's take a deeper look into that. So of course he knows that every single prospect needs to first know him, then like him, and then trust him to ultimately buy from him. And he does that in a very specific way that recently has been much more prominent. So he goes really deep into the relatable or authentic style of content. So he uses mostly 3 types of content. First one is lifestyle, second is FaceTime, and the first is Square. Hey, quickly, if you're enjoying this video right now and you would like my help with scaling your own high-ticket business, then just message me on Instagram and I will see what I can do. Okay, back to the video. And all of those formats have a different purpose. And this is actually very similar to a recent video that I did on Shelby Sub and how she uses psychology to make $600-something thousand. So if you haven't yet, highly recommend checking that. And let's go back to that. So lifestyle content, of course, sells lifestyle. So think about it as the top funnel, right? When he shows all of his fancy stuff, it will attract a ton of people. And then some of those people will wonder, okay, who is this guy actually? And they will go to his profile and then they can see those videos. For example, FaceTime's video. This is where he really creates leverage over his audience, where he can really give that authentic vibe and all of this value inside those videos. And the last is Square. And this is usually just a repurposed content from his YouTube. So let's go to that, because this is probably the most interesting part. So on YouTube, Hudson really frequently posts this lifestyle videos when he just yaps to the camera without any fancy edits, nothing like that, and he just showcases his life, his thoughts or even some value. And this is very interesting how he does that. So he probably is aware of the 7-11-4 rule, which basically states that people need to consume 7 hours of content across 11 touch points on 4 different locations to actually get to like you and trust you and ultimately purchase your thing. And he utilizes that to create top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel content. And this is where he can clearly stand out. As I said at the beginning, he needs to create a brand, right? He needs to create something that will make him differ from all of those people that are selling the same exact thing, right? Maybe they are selling a different mechanism to get to this dream lifestyle, but they are selling the exact same outcome. And this is how he actually makes himself stand out. So in the top of the funnel content, he will create videos like that, going back to my hometown after getting rich. So something that just screams. This is another one of those dudes that will just sell you some type of course, just another one of those guys. But when you actually click on this video and start watching this, you see a very big contrast, because this guy doesn't seem like every other guy from Miami, right? I don't know even if he lives in Miami. I think actually he does, never mind. But yeah, going back to that, this is where, of course, it targets unaware people, introduces people to him, and this is where the people get into his content ecosystem. After that, he will make this more middle of the funnel content, and if I am 100% honest with you, this type of content probably makes him most money, because this is where he can actually showcase his character, where he can actually showcase what type of person he is, and again, how to use Bible to get rich. This title just screams that you want to click on it, because this is two usually contrary things, right? And usually you don't associate young people that got rich out of the online space to also be very hard when it comes to Bible, their values, and all of that. So this is where he can really showcase that you can do all of those things, right? You can make a lot of money, be a good closer, be in the high ticket space, but you don't need to have the same values as most do. And this is where I feel he really stands out. And then bottom of the funnel content, this is much more value driven content, for example, like this video right here. And this content, of course, serves the purpose of actually getting people to take action and begin the whole funnel process. So let's talk about it right now. His funnel. So in every single video, he will have a call to action to click this link right here. And this is where the fun begins. It's a usual VSL funnel with a little twist at the end. So first, of course, you will have his free training, but if you want to watch it, you need to give the information. Now, when you actually do that, you will be allowed to watch the entire thing. And as you can see, of course, all the copy right here, every single point of the funnel is optimized going back to his ideal client avatar. As you can see, the headline says that you can make 10 to 30K a month as a 20-year-old, and that there is no income level and 100% freedom. So this is, of course, very tailored to a specific avatar. And underneath the video, you will have a tab form, but more on that in a second, because there is something really interesting here, right? So Hudson uses a very specific language here, and I would say that he uses that to showcase a little more of his personality, which I guess works perfectly for him. And of course, there is the usual testimonials, case studies, and all of that right here that he utilizes to build proof and actually get you to take the last step of the funnel and actually apply for the one-to-one coaching. And when you click the button, you will get redirected to the time form that basically asks you for your experience, for your monthly income, and your location qualifier. So the usual questions, nothing fancy there, and you will just have Calendly link right here that you can utilize to book your call. And when you book your spot, the sales process begins. So let's talk about it. Conversion. And this process is very similar to breast scales. So I'm not going to talk about it a lot because I made a whole video about it that you can check right here. But let me just mention that briefly. So when you book a call, a setter will get notified that a new lead has just obtained. And now when it comes to qualifications, the bigger the budget, the faster the setter will actually call you out. And when he calls you, this is what will happen. So he will call you, he will get more context about your current situation, kind of, see what vibe it is. Then he will financially qualify you. And now when he sees that you are actually qualified, he will book a call with a sales team. And if not, he will downgrade you and just send you some sales assets. And now once the call is actually booked, here's what will be happening leading up to the sales call. So the same setter says to you that he will create a group with you and a closer. In that group, you will have manual reminders, and on top of that, you will also have automated ones, basically making sure that you actually show up to a call. So it's 24, 12, and 1 hour before, and also a message 5 minutes before from the actual closer that he's excited to hop on a call with you. The sales call begins, and when you are close, of course, you will be added to a CRM. If you are not close, you will be put into a list of people to be nurtured, because maybe those people will come back later and actually be closed. And if you don't show up, they will follow up with you probably until you die, to make sure that you actually book a call with them if you were qualified. And that's it. That's the exact process that Hudson uses to make an estimated $476,000 a month with his business. And I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.